All right, folks, good afternoon and welcome on back here this Thursday, November 16th, slightly after the Ides of November, the middle of November, perhaps I should say there. Great to see Jeff still with us here inside our live trading room. Had Fausto just a moment ago actually calling out the SGD trade, getting halted for like the umpteenth time right now. Safe and Green Development Corp. So, hey, if you could hear me right now inside our live trading room, just do me a quick favor. We had a small tech issue like yesterday. Should be good to go now. Just let me know if you could hear me loud and clear. And then for all of us on social media, I believe I'm good to go just right now there as well. But Lewis, Kathleen, Barbara, Joyce, there we go. And Richard as well, loud and clear from all. Got the green light. So markets have gone nowhere. And with that, it's just to say, well, hey, there's actually a couple of name brand stocks that made a good pop up today. We'll go to Intel and AMD, the chip stocks in a moment. But yeah, this SGD stock, I don't know what the hell happened to this. Check the news out in just a moment. And actually, I really mean this when I say this. I don't know what the news is. It looks like Rich does, though. Rich, my colleague Rich Lizzie here in the chat board, because he asked me, he's like, can you see the news on this stock? And, well, honestly, I was waiting for him to tell me, and he didn't. So I don't know what this is going to bring us here. We're going to find out. Okay, so Safe and Green Development shares trading higher after the company has said that it does not intend to conduct the offering of the shares of common stock contemplated by the registration statement. So that's actually pretty odd because I haven't really ever seen that news before. You know, we always see news of common stock offerings and direct offering of shares. And it's typically after a stock flies up, much like you're kind of seeing here. But, you know, I don't think I could ever recall a company that, I guess, went back on, their decision or went back on what their intention was with their, direct offering or common stock offering that they were planning on doing. So normally, just at least it's to say, whenever there's news like that comes out, like common stock, direct offering shares, stock tanks. Well, here in this case, it doesn't surprise me too much that if they're saying they're not going to be doing that, their intention was to do that, but they're now not doing that. Pretty interesting how it ended up pumping the stock up. But damn, I wouldn't have expected up over 1,000% today, right? And hell, the stock was below $1 before the market opened up, and then just out of nowhere, even before noontime, just exploded. So yeah, I mean, hey, it got halted at 2:24 Eastern. Normally, a volatility halt is 5 or 10 minutes. Like more often than not, it's 5. And myself and Fausto, we always say, like, all right, well, if it's not 5 minutes, it's going to be 10. As we're looking at this right now, it should be reopening up, honestly, in a matter of like mere seconds. And if it doesn't, then perhaps it could be a news halt on top, like more news to be coming out. Give it about like 35 seconds, 40 seconds from right now, and we'll find out very, very shortly from here. So, you know what? Listen, it's up so much, you got to expect for it to pull back. Not only that, but I think that this is going to be on a crazy spread, very thin volume out there on the order book. It's definitely more of a gamble type of stock, as we like to say. We're going to put this on the watch list. It's on the watch list, not the CTU. You must trade this stock list. So, definitely, if you feel like you're on the top of the roller coaster with this trade, then I wouldn't be as keen to follow it. Maybe just paper trade it or up right on cue. There's a 10-minute halt. Okay, so it looks like it's about to get halted one more time and shaken around a little bit here. Yeah, that order book is like scarce. Not really much out there on the bid and the ask. Big spread. You could just even read level 2 for this. You could just see. Just do classic level 2 reading with how spaced out my matrix is. But nevertheless, yeah, we're going to add this to our watch list. If the order book fills in more, if there's at least a level that you could see and it breaks over it, you could try and jump in on a few shares, but yeah, this thing's up a lot. All right, so we were talking about before where the markets weren't really going much of anywhere. We'll show QQQ for right now. My SPY chart's all lined up, so I don't want to get people confused with what would be on that chart. But yeah, you could just see the Qs for right now, pretty much the same thing as SPY. Haven't gone anywhere today. Up and down in this range. The SPY has been playing really well to my levels, but in the sense of looking for direction, we haven't really seen much. And Fausto is bringing this up heading into the morning here today, how, normally heading into a holiday week, you don't really tend to see too much. And we have obviously next week Thanksgiving, then the half day for Black Friday. People are going to be a family. Not going to be much going on. We're coming off earnings season, so a little volatility here and there. But otherwise, perhaps we'll see more of a pullback with how much the markets have pushed up the last 4, 5, 6 days. We'll see what's ahead this afternoon. At least right now, we're kind of still in this pennant here. Higher lows, at least for right now, trying to push up. So I'll tell you, there's a couple trades that were kind of going on their own, though, right? We were just saying before, even a name brand stock like Intel, very strong day today. So there had to have been some additional news that came out here. I really don't know. I'm checking out Benzinga right now just to see. So I would assume it would be like upgrade news. Yeah, it looks like that's actually the case. I'm not just saying that here to say it. Intel shares trading higher after Mizuho upgraded the stock from neutral to buy. Now, the reason I said like upgrades and whatnot is they had earnings last week. If not last week, the week before. Over the last 2 weeks, I know they reported, right? We traded them. So it's not that. For this to pop as much as it did, and, this to really lead the pack out of the chip stocks, there had to have been extra news out on top of it. That was my thought. And looks like really early this morning, I guess I could have checked this in pre-market. I didn't. Mizuho upgrades Intel to buy, raises their price target to $50. Don't hold your breath waiting for 50 just yet. If we're in a bull market, perhaps we'll get it. But yeah, either way, it's up 6+%. It's really strong right now. I'll definitely add this here to our list. All right, what else do we have here, folks? We got a couple more. There's one I do want to check. I don't know if it's up as much. Then we'll just go from top to bottom on the gainers list. But PLTR, it's like barely like break even right now. It's still down a little percentage from yesterday, but it was popping up pretty nicely like earlier into the afternoon, and I took my eye off it for a little bit. So before I really just went from classic top to bottom, I actually just wanted to check back in on this Palantir trade. It's a good side list stock. I'll write it down for the side list, come back to it if you really want me to, but there could be a lot that looks like this. That's all. All right. So really quick, folks, for all of us just here inside the trading room, Joyce, Michael, and all of us just here otherwise, and Michael here saying no sound and charts. That's probably just him. But for all of us here otherwise, can everybody hear me loud and clear, and can everybody see the screen? I believe I'm good to go. I'm checking from my side. I believe I'm good. I got a private chat from another student saying that it was a little blurry to read. So sometimes it could be you. Sometimes it could be your Wi-Fi. It could be your screen resolution. You might need to do a little reset. What happens is we have the rare tech issue on our end on a rare day this week. And then, of course, get a couple chats here and there. So always reset on your end first, and then I'll know more often than not if it's on my side. I'll get like the mass influx from the main chat. Mark, John, Dan, I would know. So there you go. Hey, even with that said, as we're still talking, Palantir is still trying to push up a bit. I'll come back to this at least at the end. All right. Now let's just go from top to bottom here. Otherwise, wouldn't shock me if this just got halted on the way down. It did. There we go. So again, I guess I'll keep this on our list, but for right now, we'll see if there's anything like maybe that's not up as much that could have some more room to run. MRAI, that could have been it earlier, just pulled back pretty nastily before, though. ATGL, pass on that. Keep it moving. Wave D, this was like a disaster from earlier today. Let me just jump back to my 24-hour setting here. You can see it popped early in pre-market, had it on the list, but it's a chop fest afterwards, though. Oh, how about this? BBLG, another one, cheapy stock that it was at like 96, 97 cents in pre-market. Normally we don't trade these like below $1 stock. If it gets close to that dollar threshold, we'll slip it on there. Hey, there's thought that this could have made a better move, but obviously it didn't. So you don't want to get stuck holding on to a trade that clearly isn't making that push. If it's not making that big move up, there's only one other way that stock's going to make a big move. Bivy making a big move across the entire day, up nearly 30%. I think this stock also, if I'm not mistaken, I had this on the pre-market watch list also. Yeah, I had the BBLG, which was a loser. We had the Bivy trade, though, and Wave D also. But this Bivy actually has made a nice little pop heading into the early to mid-afternoon right now. Definitely making a pretty good recovery from like last week even. And with that, order book is not terrible. All right, you know what? I'm kind of selling myself into putting this on the watch list here. Bivy. Back on our list it goes. We got a shot here. Not shop as in Shopify, but shot as in Jupiter Wellness. Maybe vaccine shot. I don't know. But Sono, nice bounce just now. Okay, good. So Sono just before, we were looking for this to make a nice bounce just earlier. Ended up pushing up towards the highs just heading into the early afternoon. But from there, as you could see, I had a nasty shake. And I was looking for this to hold support. Thankfully, cookies crumbled well so far on this one. I think I have the book map open for this trade. There we go, I do. All right, so earlier, we had a couple of big iceberg orders out there. And at first, let me delete my lines here, but you can see the couple big red lines and orange lines out there on the heat map. So at first, there was about 130,000 shares on the offer, on the ask at 1303 earlier today. Had a pop and drop, a couple shakes around it. Then just the more it tests it and teases that pop, you should get that more reactive move. Even if it's a head fake, you should feel confident to take the trade at first, make sure the stock doesn't break lower, makes a higher low at that. And this ended up making a strong pop. But what's interesting was we ended up seeing your next resistance on this wasn't nearly as big as what we had here, but up top at 1360, 1365, and a lot of that volume got pulled from the offer. A lot of that volume got pulled. So with it bouncing right now, I feel like there's as even good of a chance as any here to see this make that push up towards 1365, 1370. I think that this could be a really strong trade. So if you're in from 13 or from like the VWAP where we were just calling it out just before, this could be a really strong candidate to run into the close now. We got a little resistance here at 1340 up. Maybe a little funny business first. So we had resistance at 1340, and it looks like a good chunk of that pulled their order and moved it a little bit lower. Maybe this could be a ladder on the ask. That wouldn't help the cause. Who's out here trying to mess this up? Is that you, Larry? Larry trying to mess this trade up right now? I'm teasing. I'm busting chops. No, but obviously, hopefully this can make a stronger push up. No more funny business on this trade. Hopefully we get the clean squeeze up higher. All right, so with that, what else can we grab here on this gainer side? Anything else looking good? Got a decent list between Intel and Sonos once again. The SGD, I got to tell you, I'm putting it on our watch list, but that is way too crazy. I mean, TPST was up 3,000% at one point, but obviously look at where it's at now. So you know that SGD trade is going to come smashing back down towards like $3, $2, wherever it came from. All right, so I see a couple of ETFs on here, then otherwise, like really not much else. What is this? TSLZ? Is this a Tesla one? I was just curious. Like, is Tesla here? Another T-Rex is the name of the company that. Okay, this is a weird one. All right, so we got TSLL, which is obviously the one that we normally trade. I was just interested in this TSLZ. I guess they keep pumping them out, all these different single stock ETFs. I got no business on this one, though. All right, so let's see if there's anything looking good from the loser side here. There might be a couple good shorts here at this point going with the market if we don't get our higher high. CVM down big, but not really shortable. Children's Place took a big hit, maybe off earnings. Stock dropped off down closer towards $20, made a slight bounce, but not a whole lot really to it right now. I feel like we could find better trades or have better trades already. Got a lot that's down big. Actually, let me just jump back to that VNet stock here. VNet looks like there's a little direction actually to it. It is shortable on TradeStation, believe it or not, below $5, but it looks like it's easy to borrow. Just even with it at the lows, let's just see if there's anything better. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but Let's be a little picky and choosy. All right, so kind of just skimming down the rest of the loser side here. Jump ahead to Baba, Cisco, a few different stocks that we are at least familiar with. It looks like both of them are trying to make a small little bounce right now at this point. Baba is a little bit weaker, meaning closer to the low of the day right now at least. If this ends up making a lower high right from here, like a head fake and a really sharp snap down, that could be a pretty good candidate as a short on our afternoon watch list. So, you know what? If it ends up squeezing up higher, I wouldn't be as interested in a dead cat bounce, unless if you're looking for a swing trade. But otherwise, this could actually be a good short with the way it could be making a lower high or a head fake. If it ends up snapping back down, that could be a pretty good move there. So for that reason, I'll kind of tag it to our watch list just on the back end. SoFi too slow. Carvana, wow, yeah, this had some huge volume earlier, Chuck, right? So take a look at this. You don't normally see this type of volume play out smack in the middle of the day. And Chuck, I'll be honest, I didn't even check the news. So I saw the first big spike and I thought that was it. And I moved on from it thinking all right, I'll check back in on it later. I really didn't check back in on it until now. Let's take a look. So, from my end out there, I don't have any real news out on this right now. No big news out on the stock right now, at least from yesterday or maybe a couple days back. So for Carvana, right now is a short, a little choppy towards the lows at 31. But you know what? If we end up getting a sharper break lower within the market, this could be a decent short too. I'll add this. Some of these stocks that we put on our watch list are a little more situational than anything. Give me a quick second here. Looks like Rich. Yeah, Rich, I'm good. I'm good to go. I figure just for all of our students, if you do a quick reset, then that might make you good to go yourself. But otherwise, a lot of stocks kind of looking like this where you're getting a subtle dead cat bounce. Not really a whole lot really special about these trades. Plug, Peloton, Rivian from earlier. This was actually a good short from the morning. Not a whole lot to, many of these trades that make them so special, though. So I don't want to build out too big of a watch list. And then that's where I could probably say the same on Palantir, right? Palantir is actually probably, one of the stronger side list stocks still, but it's not up or down a whole lot percentage-wise. Listen, if you do well on Palantir day to day, then, with how it's trending here, it's not a bad stock for you to personally put on your watch list. That's all. All right, so folks, once again, up, down, left, right, let me know if there's anything else here that you'd want me to look at just before we wrap this meeting up. From Marco, loud and clear. Appreciate that, my friend, on Facebook. And then Rob asking about Mara. Nah, not really. Not looking too too volatile, too great right now either way. If you're looking at it as a swing trade, that's completely different. I'm speaking solely as a day trade for the next 70 minutes before the market closes. So I'm not expecting too much on this one as a day trade, at least, Rob. All right, so folks, hey, we're going to post our watch list here in just a moment. Just checking Benzinga here one last time, one last whirl before we finish up. XERS, and I'll tell you, when Benzinga's pumping out stocks like this, to me, I think that's my cue. So, hey, folks, heading into the close, we got about 6 stocks to work with. A few that are moving still really nicely on the way up that you'd want to prioritize. And in the event where the markets do pull back, if we end up getting a lower high, lower low situation, looks like not so much just yet. Looks like the Qs are trying to push back up. So not a higher high just yet, but definitely more of a nice rounded bottom that is built in. And perhaps there could be a stronger move upward heading into the close. Not fully out of the weeds just yet, but, we'll see what's ahead. All right, traders. So, hey, best of luck trading here. And then Rich will be on. Should be good to go for the audio here heading into the afternoon. Take care.